Sebab dia cantik. Kalau dia tak cantik, aku nak bubuh dia. Orang tu nombor 5. Ada. Macam mana dia bunyi? Sebab mic tu on. Pusing sampai tak tahu. Sampai tak tahu.
Nanti Wi-Fi dengan immigrant ini
Okay. Start lagi kita tutup.
saya rasa kita jaga maksud kesehatan kesihatan fizi nanti masa depan masuk bagi aku ada anak my father's from
Ada?
My mom's house. My mom's house.
Mana buka? Aku rasa nikmat pada sini. Kalau aku tutup, dah tutup. Betul tapi bunyi ni. Okey, bunyi mana? Bunyi sini. Jadi kita cakap. Kita sudah buka. So, ada main mikrofon ni kena speaker. Tengok. Sepatutnya ini lah. Jadi kita pilih ni. Before ni. Test, test. Test.
Now, check again.
Maybe you can use
Test, test. Test, test. Test. 1, 2, 3, test. Test. Okay.
Remember OX
Test.
video.
Okay.
That's why you can online test.
Tes 1, 2, 3, cubaan suara 1, 2, 3. Tes, tes, tes.
But now now family details. But my mom's house still belong to us. In my lecture, I talk about my mom's house also. Still belong to us. My cousins are looking after. But we want more like keep it aside for anybody who want to visit our family. More like not we say that because to give it to update all the farming and electricity. Which I'm thinking of doing to turn into a neighborhood center. Thinking of
Hi. Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Penang Institute. I'm sorry to keep you waiting a bit. Well, we are very, very honored today to have with us a very famous architect, Kun Lim, who's been here before. and I did a podcast with him yesterday. So if any of you want to hear more about him after tonight, if you wait a week or two and go to our podcast website, you can hear more about him from him. So we're very happy to have him here. Now he's an architect who's done all sorts of things. He's built hotels, anything you can mention, townships and so on. And of course, very famous for as being the man who designed Putrajaya when he was working for BEP Architect, right? This is back in 1994. Well, I'll just mention some of the things he's built, right? He's mixed-use developments, athletic facilities, places of worship, healthcare, multifamily housing, and township planning. But talking to him, anything else you can imagine needs building. He's had his hand in it, all over the world even, right? And he has also served as lead planner and designer with something called the Kumpulan Perunding Kota Bistari. That I think was the job that was Putrajaya. Yeah, that's right. So he's featured in all sorts of architectural publications and mainstream media, and frequently speaks at conferences worldwide. Now we're also very happy tonight to have gotten Tan Biyu, based in Penang, to be here today to hold a discussion, hopefully later today, with Kun Lim. Most of you would know Biyu. She is actually if you have seen this lovely building next door, our third building, recently repaired, that was due to her. She took on the job, and it won last year the best award from PM as last year as the best heritage restoration conservation project. Right, that's just one of her many PAM awards. I think she's won 6, is it, over the last 4 years or so. She doesn't like to talk about it, but I have to, right? Okay. So she's worked on many things that you see around Penang. For example, the Penang Digital Library, that's done by her as well, the one next to Penang Free School. And she did the Penang Hill, the Penang Hill Gallery, Georgetown World Heritage Incorporated building on Carnarvon Street, isn't it? Yeah. So many things like that. Our first building was also done by her, restored by her. The north wing and the south wing both by her. So we owe a lot to these wonderful architects, and she's agreed tonight to be here to have a discussion with Kun Lim. So I will now invite our speaker to speak for as long as he likes, but not more than an hour.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you, Dato' Umi, for the introduction. My mother passed away on October 2nd, 2010. And a month later, I wrote an article about my mother. The title of the article is Dreams and Memories of Places. I started the article about I always dream about my mother, how she came to Malaysia as an immigrant when she was like 23 years old. And I talk about how I learned from her, how confident she was. She was like a go-getter. She was not scared of anything. And I also talk about my childhood, how I was like influenced by her and my father. But I was unable to conclude my story because why? I did not know how my mom's childhood, how she grew up in China. I traveled to China very frequently from 1994 to 2014, traveled to China more than 60 times for lectures and for projects. But I never go to visit my parents' villages in Anchi, outside Xiamen, until January this year. And January this year, I went there. I was very happy. I visited my mom's childhood home, which you have seen at the end of my presentation. And I also went to visit my father's childhood home, which is in this picture. And then finally, I begin to connect the dots between my childhood and my parents' childhood. And I decided to have a new lecture series about the stories about my childhood, my parents' childhood. And if I translate that directly from English to Chinese, dreams and memories places would be something like 梦和地方的记忆. And I did not really like it, so I messaged a friend in Xiamen, a young architect in Xiamen. Immediately, she translated for me. She called it 故土游子梦. 故土 is like ancestor land. 游子 traveler, 梦 dream. And then I talked to my daughter-in-law. She's a white lady from New Zealand. She does not speak Mandarin. 20 years old in Seattle. She had been designing all my cover page for all my lectures. And she immediately came out this cover page for me, which I was very happy because I think she's very smart. She get a reference from this 对联. 故土游子梦. That's why I'm here today to kick off my the first lecture of my new lecture series. And after this, I'll be giving a lecture in Mandarin in Chongqing next month, and then followed by at the university in US, in Seattle, in Philadelphia. My father, my mom came from Fujian province when she was about 22 years old. Her first husband passed away, so she came with her son, my second eldest brother, when he was like 2 years old. And in Kuala Lumpur, she met my father. My father's first wife passed away, and he has a son, which is my eldest brother. So they met their marriage. And both of them, they were like illiterate. They are farmer. My father, they are very poor. They are not educated. But I was like very impressed by the house designed and built by my father. You can see, and then he built in phases. This was a phase one. Certain intricate detailing, which is like very responsive to the tropical climate. And then phase two, he added in the lanai space, the lanai. Besides, the lanai side serve as a buffer from the animals. It also responds to the tropical climate, encourage natural light and natural ventilation. And it is not just a house, it is the whole compound. In our house, we raise our own pigeon, chicken. We have coconut trees. And it was like, even we are very poor, it was the nicest compound in the whole neighborhood. The children from the neighborhood would love to go there. And you can see there are a few kids here. They are like doing something under the trees. One of them was my brother. They were like gambling. So our house served as an unofficial casino in our neighborhood. And my brother is like, whenever my mom heard the news that he was like involved in some kind of like in gambling, my mom will came back from the paddy field and will chase after him. And many times my brother will jump into the river. There's a river behind my house. My brother will jump into the river. And later you will see my brother, the person who, the naughty kid, jump into the river. Now he's one of the best doctors in Taiwan. You'll see him, one of the most successful doctors in Taiwan. And in front of our house, there's a compound. During the so-called housing season, we will use it to dry up the paddy and so on. But it also serves as like a plaza, a community hub for the neighborhood. In the evening, the children from the village will come over to play games, to talk to each other, to socialize. So unconsciously, unknowingly, I learned about architecture. I learned about tropical architecture without knowing about architecture, without calling it architecture, unconsciously, unknowingly. And then I also learn about architecture is more than just a building. It should encourage community interactions. And I was very amazed on how my father, an uneducated farmer, can build a two-story house. You can see all this kind of thing. Later, I'll show you some of my projects. In diary, I was influenced by the house built by my father. I turned in my sports complex, and most of my projects you can see natural ventilation, lure. And there's a river right behind our house. This was another lecture I gave, I think 2 years ago in Dayton, KL, and last year at the American Institute of Architects National Conference in Boston. The last lecture I called Creating Connection and Creating Community. The cover page also designed by my daughter-in-law, free of charge. So I was very happy that I have a very capable daughter-in-law. And from our house in Kubang Rotan, a few times a year we'll take a boat, motorized boat, to Kuala Kedah to see the dentist or to go to see a doctor. And once a year we will go to Out of Star, especially during Chinese New Year, to buy some new stuff. So the river behind our house serves as a connector to connect us, our small village, to other communities along the river. Immediately after the high school, I was supposed to go to Melbourne to join my brother. He's my business partner now, based in KL. He's an architect. And but one day before I was about to apply for the university or in Melbourne, I read an article in the Real Digest about Ireland, and I fall in love. I said I wanted to go to Ireland, go to Dublin. And of course, my mother, she didn't know where's Ireland. She did not know whether Ireland is next to Bangkok or anything. She just asked me how much. How much is a one-way ticket? I told her how much. She said, how much will it cost for you to survive for a few months? And then she went to Sungai Petani to borrow some money from my auntie. That's why I went to Ireland. We had no money. And when I was in Ireland for a year, I was supposed to study, but I was very homesick. I never studied, and I worked part-time in the restaurants, washing dishes. But I walk around, I walk a lot in every corner in Dublin, and I was very inspired by how the city is built. I was very inspired by there are lots of small plaza in between spaces in the city. For example, in Stephen Green, the buildings all the buildings are very simple, non-descriptive, but the space in between the plaza, they are the one that I was very inspired with. I was inspired with how this building, how the spaces in between buildings use it as a community area to connect the community together, to encourage interaction. So, and so I decided to study architecture. And where should I go? I wanted, because I was very worried if I stay in Dublin, I might be so lazy, because it was Ireland, very gloomy during winter. I might be sleeping all the time. So I told myself I want to go to somewhere in US. And at that time, I was very into Mark Twain. Mark Twain stories about life in Mississippi River. I was dreaming about adventures about Huckleberry Finn. I dream about Mississippi River. And I found out Mississippi River ended in New Orleans, in Louisiana. And then I told myself I want to go to Louisiana. So I went to Louisiana. I went to University Lafayette in Louisiana. This photograph was taken 2 years ago. I went to University of Louisiana many, many years ago. I was there for a year. Beautiful campus, beautiful school. This is a school architecture, but it is the place is too nice, too laid back. So I was very worried. I'll become very lazy. I might end up staying there after I finish my school, marry a Southern girl, take it easy, design some small houses. That's not what I want to do. So I went to Houston, Texas, the second year. Architecture school is you have to spend 5 years in the architecture school to be a so-called an architect. So the second year, I transferred to University of Houston University in Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas is totally different from Kubang Rotan, Kedah. It's a city designed for the cars. It's a city. I don't really like a city, but I like the campus at the University of Houston. And just now I mentioned to you how I was influenced by the childhood home, the house built by my father, the compound created by him. Now I'm going to show you the two projects at the third year architectural design studio project that I was involved in, how I pick up certain design strategy on how to design building and even entire township. The first one, we are asked to design a small photographic retreat in the piece of land, something like this, on a 100-acre site. And in terms of build-out requirement, you only need about 10,000 square feet. So first I asked myself, why 100 acres? Why 100 acres? Most of my classmates, they put a building right next to the highway. So I say, the lecturer give us a site of 100 acres. He must have some reason. So I decided to put the school in the middle of the site, and I oriented it on the north-south orientation. And when you are going to the school, whether by car or by bicycle, I want the visitors to park the car. First of all, when you go, you look at the so-called north facade, and then you come back behind the building, you park the car, and then you walk to the building. So you already understand the building before you enter the building. Secondly, I learned about how I can organize my building. I call it linear organization, a spine. I use a spine to organize all the activities, reception, cafeteria, dormitory, studio, quarters for the lecturers. And what is the most important elements about photography, light and shadow? I also use the wall to create light and shadow. I use a spine to organize the building. I use also like the spines to create public and private space, also create light and shadow. And also like they're a bit more spiritually, like where we come from as a human, as men. So you come from this earth and you go back to the earth, you disappear. That's what, I mean, at least at that time, that's how I think. So from this project, I learned about linear organization, how I use the axis and spine to organize all my activities. The second project was also in third year. We are asked to design an addition to the railway station to an existing classical building designed by H.S. Richardson. It is an historical building, classical building. Almost all my classmates, they design, they are worried, they do not want to disturb the existing building, classical building. So they design a wing in front. Yeah, to design a wing in front. At the University of Houston, there are two persons influenced me the most on the way I think about architecture. They are not architecture design studio professor. One was an architecture historian by the name of John Zemanich. He told us that we have to read beyond the surface. Beyond the surface. The other guy was an architectural photographer. He always talked to us about light and shadow, and then when you are assigned to take a picture of a building, you have to understand the building. If the building is a symmetrical building, the publisher say you can only take one picture. Where should you take? It should be at the middle. And to understand beyond the surface, this is a symmetrical building, so they have a central axis. So I create a central axis. Then instead of building the addition in front, I put a new building on a river slope. I already established an axis to respect the existing building, so the new building can be more spontaneous, can be more more to the current time. And at the same time, I decided to connect to use the opportunity to to build a cable car to connect the communities from across the river to the town center. And you can see I use the same kind of concept for same kind of design strategy for my next few projects. One of them is Putrajaya. You can see it's very clear how I use a design strategy I done as a student, and I repeated in all my professional work. My last school project I show you, there's a river, and immediately after I graduated, in fact 4 months before my graduation, I went to New York for interview. I had like 10 job interview. I received 10 job offer on spot. And I decided to join the Hero Group in Princeton, New Jersey. At the time, there were about 200 plus architects. And the director of design was Aaron Chimakov. He was the chairman of the Graduate School of Architecture at Princeton University. So after I worked there for 2 years, he assigned me to enter a design competition for New Jersey Aquarium. This site, Camden, is in New Jersey. We call New Jersey a garden stage. Across from New Jersey is a Philadelphia. So there are two issues to deal with. One is an urban design issue. There will be people parking the car here, and then they walk to the building, to the aquarium, and then there will be visitors take a boat or water taxi across the river to the aquarium. And when you are walking from a parking garage to the so-called aquarium, your visual perspective is different from you look at the building from across at a distance. To address this issue, I have two geometry interact with each other. I call urban geometry. For the facade facing Philadelphia, I make it more classical, more formal. So from far away, you can understand the building at one glance. It is very clear at one glance. From New Jersey side, I make it more organic, since we call New Jersey a garden state of New Jersey. And I also created an axis along the Fairway Street, which terminated at the water taxi terminal for the traveler from across the river. So it's something formal versus something more organic. And I also want to make the building a good neighbor building, just like my childhood home. I want to encourage neighbor to go there. Not everybody want to buy a ticket to enter the building, and because it's quite expensive, but they are welcome to walk around the waterfront promenade. So it is a good neighbor building. And how am I going to organize the activities inside the building? There are many ways you can do that. How can I organize? I visited a few aquariums. Some of them organize it like it's like there's no organization. You walk in, you can walk around freely. You pick any direction you want. But I wanted to tell a story. The story is about aquatic life on the New Jersey shore. I want to tell a story on a more structured way, and I call it linear organization. In terms of architecture, in terms of urban design scale, you have something formal versus something more organic. But in terms of organizations, I want to tell a story in a more organized way, linear organization. A person, after you bought a ticket, you enter, you look at the outdoor exhibition in a more organic environment, modular environment, and then you go to the main lobby, the rotunda, to orientate yourself, and then you continue the exhibition. And then the biggest exhibit is a shark tank, 1 million square feet of gallon of water, 1 million gallon of water of shark tank, white shark. You might wonder why the shark tank is like in a figure X shape. You might wonder maybe because shark love number 8, fat. We are told shark love to swim in the direction of number 8, white shark. And then after the big shark tank, you walk around to look into all the interactive thing. After that, you walk to the auditorium to watch a documentary to summarize your visit. So there's a story, there's an introduction, there's a most exciting part, there's a conclusion. After that, you can go free and easy. You can go to the bookstore to buy some kind of souvenir, or you go to a restaurant for your lunch, and then you can go home. And you can see the contrast of in terms of urban scale, something formal and something organic. And also were drawn by me in ink, technical pen, not AutoCAD, with color film, also color film. Hand-drawn drawings, hand-drawn perspective. And this was an architecture model. So it has something very formal versus something very organic. And it was completed, I think, in early 1990s. I visited the aquarium after it was open. I came back to Malaysia and I went back again to visit it when I was much younger with more hairs. In 2023, October, I went back to New Jersey to visit the aquarium to Princeton, New Jersey. You can see I took a picture in Philadelphia, across Philadelphia, behind is the New Jersey aquarium. And I went to see my ex-boss, Steve McDaniel. He was the one who hired me, who assigned me on this project. And Steve told me he's going to invite Howard Davids to join us for lunch, but he was not very sure because Howard Davids had been suffering from depression for more than 10 years. He was not very sure whether he'll join us, but he showed up. At the end of our lunch, before we said goodbye to each other, he said, "Kun Lim, I have something for you." And he gave me this T-shirt, size S, my size. He said he kept it for me. During the opening ceremony, they were given to all the design team members. He kept it for me for 30 plus years. And then he also kept my coffee mug. I used it for 6 years. Yeah, I cried. And then I came back to Malaysia. The first job, my first job offer was from Dr. Ken Yang. I already work in Princeton, New Jersey. He's a nice guy. I used to speak alongside him in Spain, in a few other countries. He told me, the salary he offered me probably was the highest in his company history. But I went to see Dato Aaron Tong Kok Mau, Dato architect. He was a developer. He offered me much higher. So I joined Sunrise for the first 1 or 2 years. After which I joined BEV Architect on December 1st, 1993. And on December 20th, 1993, Ho Wai Peng, one of the former directors, he came to see me and said, "Kun Lim, we've been invited at the very last minute to enter the invited design competition for Putrajaya. We only had 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And other companies like Hijaz Kasuri, AJM, PAB, they've been like working there for a few months. So 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, I know I must have a very strong concept. And then Mr. Ho said he can assign as many people to help me. I said, I don't want any architects. Architects will always argue among themselves. We can never finish the assignment. So he assigned me 2 perspective artists. He assigned me long time ago. We draw manually. So he assigned 2 perspective artists to work with me. And as usual, I love to work at night. At night, 10 p.m., I went back to the office. I look at topography map, and then I look at like certain so-called high points. Immediately, I establish axis, north-south axis, as a spine to organize the city. And I acknowledge this is going to be a so-called administrative capital city. You need something that's very more formal, but it is going to be a livable city with neighborhood. You need something more organic. And I look at topography map. I did not have a chance to visit the site. And I noticed there are some river stream, Sungai Chua, Sungai Langat. I pick up a contour point of 22 meters. And I flooded there with water. So this was my 10-minute sketch, conceptual sketch for Putrajaya, my first and only one. And subsequently, I asked my colleagues to prepare some diagram. And I get the artist Teresa to help me to draw perspective. And I told her it is going to be a garden city. In my mind, because I live in Princeton, New Jersey for 6 years, it is a garden city. Everywhere is garden. When what garden city meant to me is you don't have to go to garden anymore. It's a garden, just like Seattle. I live in Seattle now. Everywhere is a garden. You walk, you don't have to go to a garden. And then secondly, I told Teresa that in my mind, when I call it garden city, that the building should be secondary to the environment. The building should be very simple. It should be something like designed by Jeffrey Bauer in Sri Lanka. Then we come out some drawings, some conceptual drawing. I also imagine this is a government precinct. Government servants can live across the river. They can take a boat to Putrajaya. And then in front of the Prime Minister office, there should be a market, a fish market. So, I mean, I told myself I don't want to talk about this story anymore, about Rosma and Najib. Can you imagine if Rosma called Najib when he was Prime Minister, said, "Dear, on your way home, can you pick up some ikan kembung?" He will be so humble. Can you imagine? He might still be the Prime Minister. I think Dato Sri Anwar, he loved it. He just published a book about anti-corruption, something like that. And in my imagination, all the government officers in Putrajaya should be so humble, so simple, something like this. So a farmer like my mom would feel comfortable to walk in. Now in Putrajaya, along the boulevard, even me, I don't feel comfortable to walk in. I feel like I have to wear tuxedo to go in. I did a master plan, but I did not design any building. And after I won a competition, we formed a consortium. We developed the design further. We thought, with the exception of a few key buildings, like the Prime Minister's office and the stadium, of course now is the convention center, the government offices should be like, we should use a shop house typology. At the ground floor, we should have mama store, restaurants, cafe. And then I imagine myself, I said, look, can you imagine, do we still have a Ministry of Home Affairs in Malaysia? We still have. Can you imagine you're a Home Affairs Minister? Every day you came downstairs to have a lunch with the people like us. You will feel more sympathetic to people like us. You don't simply issue like ISA and this kind of thing. That's what my vision of Putrajaya. Yeah. This is a Putrajaya today. In terms of oral master plan, I kind of like it, but I don't really. I think most of the architecture I think it's not appropriate for a democratic country. This is my favorite building in Putrajaya. The mosque is very beautiful. This picture was probably taken about 20 plus years ago when my son, he was like 5 years old, now he's 26. He get married last year. He been working he worked as a software engineer for 4 years plus. He bought his own house. This is more like his mother, my Indonesian nanny. She looked after him the day he was born. My son started from 14 years old. He started to work part-time in the supermarket. Since then, he been wiring money to his kaka every year, Chinese New Year and Hari Raya. And now the amount getting bigger. He never tell me, but this kaka always message me, say, Andrew, just send me some money here and there. My elder son, he was almost like a genius. When he was 9 years old, he wrote a storybook, 90 pages. The title of the story is called Nara and the Underground City of Ramada. So he was a genius. In Putrajaya, you can see the spine. We use a spine to organize everything together. Spine, like what I show you, my first school projects. I use a spine to organize our activities in the neighborhood. And subsequently, I joined KL Leading City. I involved in the 12-kilometer long KL Leading City project. And we wanted to use a Leading City to connect both sides of the Kering River together. The biggest one was called Gigawa, 2.4 kilometers long, to be built on top of the Kering River, 45 meters wide. Yeah. And the Leading City is supposed to be served by 6 monorail stations. This one parcel, and then second parcel, I try to use the opportunity to connect Kampong Baru to KLCC. Yeah, second parcel. Also, 5 buildings fall on top of the river, but I created a plaza on the at the Kampong Baru site. The project was not carried out due to the Asian financial crisis in 1998. And for many years, I think from the year 2000 until 2019, I involved in projects almost all over Asia and Africa, Equatorial Guinea, Kazakhstan, Maldives, India, Indonesia, China, almost Cambodia, almost everywhere. I think, I forgot how many years ago, GMR Group from India invited me to involve in the limited design competition to bid for a project in Hosur, Tamil Nadu. It is located south of Bangalore, India. And the site is like in 2 different locations. I mean, the on top is one parcel, below is one parcel. It's an industrial city. And then to make it worse, it is divided into 4 parks because of the railway line. So they did not know how to manage it. And to them, it's a lot of problem, a crisis. And to me, when there's a crisis, there's opportunity. Like in Mandarin, we call Wei Ji. Wei is something less dangerous. Ji Hui is opportunity. When you look at the railway line, you need green buffer. So I expand the green buffer, make it wider, and it become a linear park. It become a spine to organize the cities together, and then you can have an underpass to walk past by, to connect the communities. We won the competitions. GMR got a concession to build a new township, but nothing built until now because of political reasons. When they want to acquire land, the neighbor would like strike. Would like organize a protest. Same thing. I was hired to design a new campus for one of the tech companies in India. Actually, the headquarters was near San Francisco. Called US Technology. Same thing. Some kind of like so-called canal go through. During the monsoon season, the place will be flooded. They did not know what to do. And I decided to take the opportunity to make a series of water feature. First of all, I use a spine to organize all the building together. And the spine is some kind of walkway along the, starting from the walkway, you have a guardhouse. Along the walkway, we have a gym on the water. You have a cafe on the water. We organize all the building together. And I divided the building into 3 components. The first one, I call it executive offices for the chairman, way former. And they use it to welcome people like Bill Gates, long time ago. Microsoft, so in my imagination, Bill Gates, Microsoft was the biggest customer. Bill Gates, when Bill Gates visit their new headquarters, they can line up Joe elephant to welcome him. That's what I have in mind. And then secondly, is for the young scientists. I was inspired by a short institute by Louis Kahn. I want to make it more informal. I want to create a lot of accidental space so that when those scientists, when they walk around the campus, they, on the way to toilet, they might bump into each other at the so-called accidental spaces. They might stop and started a conversation. New ideas might arise because of these chance encounters. And at the back, it was like we have a dormitory for the engineers and commercial restaurant and a few other things. Yeah. And besides, this space for the executive office, because you can use it to line up jaw elephant. You can use it to watch cricket match live. And then the chairman of the company can also give a talk to the employees a few times a year. And I forgot how many years ago, 2009, a consultant from Malaysia, they asked me to help them to design some kind of a project we call Islamic City in Shenyang. There's a neighbor in Shenyang next to their opera house. There are a lot of Muslims living there. Inside, there's an existing mosque. They are bidding for the project. Immediately, they told me they want to demolish all the existing building. They want to demolish it, but I disagree. And I told them, once you finish a project, you build a 80-story office building, 60-story 5-star hotel, who's going to work there? The Muslim who lived there before. So you should keep something that's with a certain emotional attachment to them. You don't like demolish it, because like the Muslim, the original residents, they are going to live here. So instead of demolish the mosque, I turned the mosque in the focus of the whole development. I created a plaza surrounding the mosque. I also created a bazaar for the Muslim, the original resident there, to conduct their business. And same thing, I sketch out the concept in 10 minutes. I visited a site on January 2nd, 2009 with my clients from Malaysia. They stopped by in a nice restaurant. They said, Kun Lim, you go around taking picture with the driver. It was like minus 28 degrees Celsius. And then after I visited the site, in front of them while they are having their nice food, I sketched up the concept in 10 minutes, and nothing changed after that. The existing mosque now becomes the feature, the focus point of the development. They won the bid, and they signed an MOU. They have 2 years to raise $5 billion US dollars, but they are unable to do so. And from 2006 January until 2019 December, I was hired by Lipo Group to work on a lot of projects within the city called Lipo Cikarang. All the area we color every single parcel, every single project were designed by me. At least according to Lipo, they pay me the fee for it. They say designed by me. I work together with their in-house. Every month or so, when I went to visit the Lipo Cikarang, they would drive me around. I said, Pak Kun Lim, this is your project, but I cannot remember. But I get paid. I came out concept, they changed along the way. They pay me, so I don't really care. And one of the major projects I designed for them was we call it City Center Lipo Cikarang. Same thing, I wanted to keep certain I call eco village, certain village, and I also keep the existing mosque. And there's and then I also use a low valley to turn into a linear lake. The lake is almost like on-site detention. The linear lake serves as a spine to organize all the activities together. Yeah. And it was built. So, I mean, that's what sometimes architects and townpreneurs, they thought they are God. They can just sketch out something. The client actually follow. It can be very frightening. It was built. I last visited the Lipo Cikarang in December 2019. And another project I want to show you is also in Lipo Cikarang. Was they asked me to design a shopping center. They want a box-side shopping center. I disagree. I say I want to design a strip mall for them. My concept was to keep all the existing trees. Whenever there's an existing tree, I turn into like example, this one is become a courtyard. Yeah. It cost them about only $1 million US to build this. And then they told me, because of this project, all the land value surrounding them shoot out a few times. They told me in terms of return of investment, it's the highest ever in the company history. I design almost everything from a furniture, reception table, to like small houses, to hospital, to almost everything you can imagine of. So this is one of the houses I designed. Normally, I sketch out the concept myself. The nice view is facing the western sun, so I have a second layer of skin to protect the inhabitants from the harsh tropical sun, and also to encourage cross ventilation. And also introduce a water feature, a swimming pool on the ground to cool out the slopes above. And this is a so-called 3-generation house. My client and his wife, his 2 sons and their grandchildren all live in the same house. I mean, on the top, there are 2 apartments have their own kitchen and pantry. As you enter, it's like I encourage cross ventilations, and I also have a fish pond. You can walk on top of fish pond to go to staircase. I have a clear define between dining area and living room with because of the separated by the entrance foyer. And the client, one of his requirements is, he said he wants his grandchildren to have a dinner with them every day. Dinner, grandchildren or children. So I introduced this so-called double volume space. Besides, it serves as a heat buffer. It also serves as a vertical connection, communication tool. The grandma can walk here and shout and ask all the grandchildren to come now to have dinner. Yeah. And of course, almost all the architects in Malaysia, like most of them probably involved in the so-called mixed commercial development. This one is about 3 acres. You have to put in about 800 units. Means that there'll be like 2,000 plus people living there in a small community. In outside Seattle, 2,000 plus person is a small town. But we are small towns in a 3 acre site. In this case, we have a basement parking for the commercial, and then we have some shops, tutorial center, clinic on the first few floors. On top, we have parking. Yeah. Oh, only 10 minutes. Yeah. And this is the so-called, I did a master plan for UCSI University and also designed a hospital and medical school. Sports complex, Sky Arena Sports Complex. The atrium is all naturally ventilated, almost like my house, but in a bigger scale. Dual wave across the second bridge. I try to like humanize industrial building, make it more human. There's a Japanese garden along the dual wave, 600 meters, and it won the award by the Malaysia Book Record as the longest Japanese garden in Malaysia. The warehouse is owned by Dato Sri Michael Teo. Coincidentally, Malaysia Book Record is also owned by him. He bought me lunch, dinner, breakfast all the weekend. So it's okay. I think his COO is here. Jason. Yeah, that's his project. He's here. Yeah, I was with Dato Sri a few times last weekend. The ship campus next to the dual wave. Yeah. I have to go very fast. 2012, I followed PKT's management group for the so-called trip to Kenya, safari to Kenya and Tanzania. Maybe later you give me extra 10 minutes, okay? Because I have to finish up the story. My mom just passed away, and I was very sad. 2 weeks of so-called safari. Every day, all of them like Jason. Jason, you haven't joined PKT yet. So all of them are very excited when they see a tiger, all kind of thing, elephant. I was like very sad. Until I passed by I passed by this place. I saw a tree. I asked the driver to stop. I said, I want to go to the tree. There's only one tree in a big so-called, I mean, you cannot see anything except this tree. This happened to be acacia tree. And then surprisingly, there was a chair there. I sat there. I asked my friend to take a picture for me. And I feel like I'm free. Finally, I'm free. And I mean, under the acacia tree, in Masai Mara, in Kenya, in Africa, I feel like I'm free. So the next year, I moved my family to Seattle. Here, I went to Seattle. A few months later, Mount Rainier, almost like Mount Fuji, downtown. I live somewhere nearby here. And in 2014, I happened to be in KL, I think April or June. The mayor and the imam from the city of Khoi in Iran, they came to visit me to invite me to design a big mosque for them, a mosque in Khoi. At first, I thought they came to Malaysia for holidays on the way, just stop by my office. They only spent one night in Malaysia. They just want me to design a mosque for them. And their knowledge, I'll be worried about political issues because US sanctioned Iran. They told me their sponsor, this guy is a businessman in Dubai. They'll pay me from his company in Dubai to pay to my office in Seattle. I don't have to worry. And and then they told me why they wanted me to be the architect. I mean, legally, I'm a Catholic. That's what they say. They want me to design the mosque for them because they want to have a different perspective. And then they also read articles about me, about my mother. They say mother is as important as God. That's what they told me. They said their interpretation. I accepted the job. I supposed to visit their site in Khoi, but before I visited the site, before I went there, I went to Singapore to meet with my friend. He was my junior from the University of Houston. He was a number 2 guy in the SCDA, Sujan Design. Sujan is from Penang. And then he told me I shouldn't accept the job because 1 or 2 years earlier, Sujan, he was the architect for the Singapore embassy in Tehran. And one day, he went to visit the site in Tehran. On the way back, he stopped by New York to visit his children. He was detained for more than 10 hours by the Homeland Security Department. I mean, U.S. Homeland Security. They asked him why he go to Iran. So I did not accept the job. But the next year, when I moved to Seattle, some guy from Iran, the people who visited me, recommend me to their friends in Seattle to design a mosque. So I designed a mosque in Seattle. Initially, I thought I want to interpret the mosque, want to make it more modern, more like the way I wanted, minimalism. And then when I talk to all those people, they're like from Syria, from Bangladesh, they're homesick. So I told myself, the mosque I designed had to be resemble a mosque. When they look at it, it looked like a mosque. Yeah. But yet it had to be respond to the site. That's what I have. These are the trees, like the window looks almost like the pine trees behind. So it looks like a mosque, yet it's quite responsive to the surrounding. And I have a few projects in Seattle now. Yeah. I'll just show you quickly some of my projects. A few projects in Sri Lanka. This is a convention center in Sri Lanka. And called Graduate School for the Study of Buddhism in Sri Lanka. As I mentioned, I always sketch out the initial concept myself. And to use the atrium natural ventilation. Atrium is served as a lung to help you to circulate the air. In lotus. Lotus is a symbolic plant in Buddhism. Lotus it's always green, even if it grow up in the muddy water. It's something like You might be surrounded by corrupt people, but you're still clean. Not easy to be in Malaysia, to be clean in Malaysia. But it's supposed to be something like this. Yeah. Very simple building with mostly like I use a concrete and timber as materials. And this is my last so-called project. It's about surgery, so give me some time to finish it. And I talk about my mother. This is my brother, the guy who had to jump to the river when my mom chased after him. My brother is one of few Malaysian doctors that have his article published in New England Medical Journal, the most prestigious medical journal in the world. 2005, August 4th, he called me. He said he just joined surgery with a big pay cut, 50% pay cut. He joined surgery. He said he just had a lunch with Master Chen Yan and Stephen Huang, the international director for Surgery Foundation. He said they want you to go to see Master Chen Yan on August 7th in Taipei, in Panqiao, in one of their centers. So I was not happy, but my brother asked me I have to go. And I thought surgery must be such a poor charity organization. They need someone like me to help them. So I went to Taiwan, went to Taipei. A guy by the name of Lo Sixiong, brother Lo, came to pick me up in a Mercedes Sports. And I changed my... yeah. And then he took me to one of the surgery building. I was so impressed. Beautiful garden. Inside, they have a big atrium. It was converted from a factory. 4 or 5-story atrium with all the lowers, to encourage natural ventilation. And then after that, they brought me in, Steve Wong brought me into the big auditorium with a few thousand people, 1,000 or 2,000 people listening to Master Chen Yan. And she was so calm. At that time, I thought I was a hotshot international architect, travel all the world to give lecture in Madrid, in Paris, Hong Kong, Nanjing, Dubai. And I listened to this nun, Master Chen Yan. She spoke in a very calm voice in Hokkien and Mandarin. And she said something that really struck me so much. Struck me like I was so shocked. She said a word in Mandarin. She said, 无常先到, 或者是明天先到, 你不知道. You die first or tomorrow come first, you do not know. Yeah, I was shocked. And then subsequently, I was invited to go to a lounge to have a one or 2 hours conversation with her. At that point, I still did not know who she was, so I was like joking with her. After that, I was invited to travel with her in the car to another surgery complex in Panqiao or in Guantu. When her car left the compound in Panqiao, I saw hundreds of people, surgeons, volunteers, wave to her and cry. I said, look, I shouldn't be like talking rubbish with the Master Chen Yan. So anyway, and Surgery Foundation, I mean, we call it Taiwan Buddhist Surgery Foundation. And the slogan is called 做就对了, just do it. Almost like Nike, something like that. They built all kinds of buildings all over the world. They don't care who you are. Like example, they built school and mosque for Muslim in Iran. They built school for the Muslim in Hambantota in Sri Lanka. And in Taiwan, they have a lot of like they have hospitals, universities, international school. This one is designed by SOM. And the hospital where my brother is. And there's certain elements about surgery or called surgery architecture philosophy. First of all, Master Chen Yan believed that architecture is a teacher in silence. 无声说法. Architecture can influence a person. She wants all her buildings to be very simple. She wants all her buildings to be environmental friendly, easy to maintain. So she wants all her buildings to be like monotone, with gray color, paper wash, and timber. That's all. So she wants surgery volunteer or students when they walk to the surgery building, they learn to be calm so that they can learn new things. And then you look at all her buildings, it's very clear, very simple. She wants all the students, like example, this is an international school. When they go to school, they know where's the main entrance. Main entrance. She doesn't want the student can, I mean, if they are unable to find the main entrance, they to use a back door, and you pick up all the wrong habit, yeah, or the back door like in Malaysia. And she wants, in all her compound, the complex, she wants to have a lot of greenery, because she wants the greenery, or I mean, that would encourage the children to develop a generous heart, sin song quota. And the first project I was hired for Churchy was to remaster their campus in San Dimas, California. And then I was hired to design their campus in KL. I knew exactly what he wanted, but architects, people like us, we're highly egoistic. I said, Tan Bi Yu, she's okay, she's very down to earth. Yeah, that's all. Architects, we want to create something for ourselves. So I know exactly what she wanted, but I said, look, I want to design a building for Kun Lim. So I say, I don't want to have a compromise. The so-called assembly hall is a bit like Shirchi. The rest is like a bit different, almost like Richard Meyer. Yeah. But I knew she won't accept. And then I decided to follow Shirchi philosophy. The Shirchi campus we call Jin Si Tang. Basically, it consists of certain components. One, the middle portion is like convention center. The two other wings, we have a school, dormitory, classrooms, community, a bookstore, library. And I have these two wings stick out like two hands, like Yong Bao Changsheng, welcome you. Like it's a good neighbor building with a sub-basement parking with the open space in front. I came up some schematic drawings, concept drawings. And then I have a so-called two linear courtyard to encourage natural ventilation. Went to see Master Chen many times. I would go there with the study model, like Lego set, and she was so excited, like a little girl. And this is a computer building in KL. What I did is I had to let go of my ego. I'm designing for community. I am not designing for Kun Lim. So I had to respect Churchy philosophy, but I add value to the building. We have these two courtyards, but just imagine the middle building is almost like a convention center. During the weekend, there are thousands of people going up and down. The staircases will not be able to cope. The elevators will not be able, not enough. And I decided, you can see, there are all kinds of, a lot of people, over the weekend, thousands of people. And I introduced a ramp into courtyard to use a ramp as a system to bring people up and down. And the ramps also serve as a gallery, a display area, and bring in natural light too. Yeah. Yeah. I attended a lecture at this Churchy Chin Soho for the first time, I think 2 years ago. The lecture was given by Jane Goodall, the scientist, the chimpanzee scientist. I think she passed away last year. This is me, my younger brother. Yeah. I won a few awards. And now I have a few projects with Churchy. Went to see Master Chen very frequently, 3 times a year. This one was in June 6th, just 2 months ago. This one is the Churchy campus in Miri. Construction will start in this year. Churchy campus in Klang, construction started 3 months ago. just started working on the Churchi Technical School in Bodhgaya, India, Bihar, India. Master Chen Yin believed that healthcare, housing is a human right. Healthcare is a human right. Education is a human right. So like Churchi has been building houses all over for the poor. Like in Bodhgaya, India, they build houses for the lowest caste, the poor of the poor. And now we are going to build school, build hospital for them as well. I went there in November 2024 to attend a handing ceremony, handing over the houses to the poor in Bodhgaya, Bihar, India. And I just started working on a new project for them as well. They bought over an abundance school. I'm going to turn into do some addition and refurbishment, turn into a technical college. Plus, they're going to buy more land for hospital and the Churchi, we call Jinse Tang. Yeah. I mentioned to you guys that I traveled to China so many times, but I never have a chance to visit my parents' villages. In early this year, January 1st, I went to Taiwan. January 3rd, I went to see Master Chen Yen. January 3rd was my birthday. I went to see Master Chen Yen. And initially, I thought I want to fly back to KL on January 4th. But a few days earlier, my old client in Chongqing said, why don't you come to Chongqing? So instead of flying back to Malaysia, I went to Chongqing. And then on January 6th, I thought maybe I was about to book a flight to fly back to KL from Chongqing on January 9th. But before I booked the flight, I messaged my cousin in Anshi, outside Xiamen. I just got his WeChat number. I messaged him to ask him whether he's around in Xiamen. He said yes. So instead of flying back to Malaysia, January 9th, I went to Xiamen. I spent the first 2-3 days touring Xiamen. A young architect showed me around. And then on the January 12th, a friend took me to Anshi. It's about 90 minutes drive from Xiamen. The moment we are like reaching Anshi, I was like a bit, I won't say shocked, a bit touched. You can see the word Anshi Guan Xiao. Recall the thing my mom always talked to me, An Kui Guan Gyo, An Kui Guan Gyo. My mom always talk about An Kui Guan Gyo. Yeah. And then the first place I went to meet my cousin, his wife, at my father's neighborhood. Same thing, An Kui Xiania. My mom always talk about An Kui Xiania. And this was this is my father's childhood so-called neighborhood quarters. The house now occupied by somebody else, but last time he lived in this neighborhood. And then you can see in my childhood home, there's a big compound in front. And you can see certain architectural detailing, it's almost the same. And I went to see my mom's house. My mom's house is just next to my cousin's house. Instead of entering from the front, we enter from behind. As you enter, there's some kind of area. And my mom's room, she stayed until she was 22, 23 years old, 20 years old. Initially, a long time ago, I thought my parents must be very poor. They had to run away to China. They live in a quite nice house, maybe due to the Civil War. They had to run away to Malaysia. Yeah. Got yeah. Yeah. And then you look out from the main door, it's just like my kampong house. Vegetables plot. My parents planted a lot of vegetables right in front of our house. Yeah. And you can see some of the window detailing is exactly the same. Like how my father built my house. So I managed to reconnect the dots between my childhood and my parents' childhood. Yeah. And about, I think 3 to 4 p.m., my cousin's wife said they wanted to take me to a nice restaurant nearby. I said, no, I have to go to Xiamen to meet a friend. And so she worried that I might be hungry, so she prepared a noodle soup for me. Noodle soup with the so-called hanju help. That's potato leaf with some meat. It is exactly like how my mom cooked for me when I was a little boy. It was exactly. This was a picture, my last picture that I took with my mom, taken by my son Andrew when he was 8 years old in 2008. My father passed away when I was 3 years old. The youngest one in the family, my younger brother was 2 years old. One person, she raised all 9 of us to be architects, doctors, and engineers. That's why, she dared to dream. That's why we dare to dream. Last year, in May or June this year, when I was in KL, I met my younger brother 3 times. His son started want to follow his dream. Initially, he wanted to be an architect. My nephew. After he talked to me, he was unable to make up his mind. He asked me, and I asked him, "What is your dream?" He said one day he want to open a nice cafe, like in a bungalow, setting in the garden. He want to sing for his customer. He wants to be a musician. Yeah, so my nephew. And then he was accepted to the Berkeley College in Boston. Tuition fee per year is $60,000 US. And he was unable to share a room with other people, so he has to rent his own apartment. The apartment cost $3,600 per month US. So means that in 4 years, it cost his father, my younger brother, 2 million ringgit. So I asked my brother, why you spend so much money? Especially now your business, you're not doing well in your business. And he said, look, long time ago, when we say we want to go to Melbourne, we want to go to Ireland, to Taipei, we have no money, we don't even have food to eat. But our mom always say, yes, go. Go to achieve your dream, go. So he said he cannot say no to his son. That's what I learned from my mother. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kun Lim, for you would agree, very inspiring talk. May I now invite Ms. Tan Biyu to take the stage? Would you like to?
Okay. Everyone still awake? Okay. All kantong and touch.
Yeah.
So I have few questions on my side, all written here.
Okay.
But I think I'll do this. I'll warm the room. Okay. I'll ask maybe 2-3 questions. Then I'll encourage everyone in the room to ask. I would like to, start by the very beginning of your talk. Now, we were very moved by your storyline of how you grew up, and your father and your family's your story of inspiration. I'm very curious to know, your father built the house and, literally taught you architecture without architects.
Yeah, without I know it. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm curious, can you share what are the lessons that you learned from your father that you did not learn from the architecture school?
What I learned from my father, I did not learn from architecture school before. Besides how to design a building to respond to a tropical climate, is to learn how to design a building for people, not for architect, for people. That's why I learned to design building that can encourage interaction between people. That's why I learned.
Because the ability you've shown in doing designs, 2 weeks of a master plan, 10 minutes here, 5 minutes, you make everything look so easy.
Yeah.
But what I saw is intuition as an architect. Now, intuition, do you think is a skill or a talent or something where you picked up from your father? Because your father would have built, from intuition, respond to climate.
I think in 2023, I gave a talk at the World Architecture Day, the Himbas Depot. At the end of my lecture, one architect from Egypt, he asked me the same question. I say, look, everyone has certain talents. And then I asked him whether he watched a reality TV show called Dog Whisperer, Caesar Miran. When you have a dog, dog, you are unable to manage him. You bring the dog to him, he can come out the dog. So I told him, this guy, Dog Whisperer, he has certain skill, know how to deal with dog. I have certain talents that I know how to deal with the environment. I look at the topography map, I look at the site, I can come up concept almost instantly. I would say faster than AI, almost instantly. But having said that, in our line, in the so-called our scope of work, concept design is only 5% of our scope of work. This means that I only know 5% of the work. That's what I don't work too much. My brother, he's very talented, multi-talented. He knows 95% of the scope of work. That's why he's very busy. So I would say, I don't think you can learn. This is more like I was born with it. I think I was born with I was lucky I was born. I have a very good friend. He donated a few $100 million ringgit to Suji Foundation. He told me, Kun Lim, he's my very good friend. He told me, Kun Lim, you are so lucky. You came from a poor family. And then your mom managed to send you to US to study to be an architect. Because he said you can now become a businessman. He said you're like, you don't know how to keep a secret. You walk very straight, you hit a wall all the time, luckily you're an architect. So I would say I was lucky to be born with that special talent that I can survive as an architect.
There's half of the room here, I believe, are architects, because architects in Penang, small circle. So as an architect, I'm very curious on that part when you mentioned you got that assignment, that instruction from your boss to design Putrajaya master plan.
Yeah.
Others have done it way before. You only have 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Were you scared or were you excited? If you could be honest with us.
I'm very excited.
Because I want to give inspiration to a few young graduates.
I'm very, very excited for the opportunity. I remember after Putrajaya, I was very angry because I worked day and night. I was a VP. I actually appreciate. I was the chief designer for Putrajaya. I had to work in a consultant office in Federal House, working maybe 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week. At the same time, I was also assigned by BP to handle certain special project within manage the town planning division. It's like buy one get 3 free. They pay me one salary. I have to work on 3 jobs. So I was very angry. I talked to my brother in Taiwan. He said, "You're very lucky." He said, "Can you imagine you are in your own small practice, you think you have a chance to be involved in Putrajaya? You should be very thankful to your bosses, not to be angry with them."
Yeah, because to me, that's very inspiring.
Yeah.
Because you can choose to be afraid of new challenge.
Yeah.
But what I saw is your resilience and never say die.
Yeah.
And you're not afraid to dream. And it shows that all this come from your family, both parents, great influence on your upbringing. From there, I wanted to ask, what took you so long to go back to your parents, if I may ask very politely?
I was very busy. My company is very small. I think you'll be surprised. I have much more projects than the numbers of my architect in my office, even at this moment. Well, and I was very busy in the sense that the moment that I set up my own company, we have a lot of job. When we just started our own company in the year 2000, hardly anybody in Malaysia want to hire me with down payment because I always insisted on down payment. Yeah. And most of my projects are in India, in China, in Asia, Indonesia, so I had to travel. I was so busy, like when I go to China, say I go to Hong Kong. At that time, I did a project with this company in Hong Kong. At that time, AirAsia only flew to Shenzhen. I flew to Shenzhen, took a bus to Hong Kong. At that meeting, took the bus back to Shenzhen and came back on the same day. And then same thing when I went to Madras, same day I came back. So I was very busy when I went to China. Every time I only spent about 2 to 3 days. So I was a man on the go. I was so busy. Give lecture all over, visiting project site all over. So I never have a chance to visit my parents' so-called villages or ancestors' home until recently.
Because I can relate with your work. At times, I have no answers to
Yeah.
how I do my work as well. I could feel I do things out of intuition.
Yeah.
So, from that point of view, I felt it could be deep down, your conscious knows the right timing
Yeah.
to visit.
Yeah.
So, when you did visit, did you wish you had visited earlier, or you felt you were ready? At
I
that
think
point
it
of
was
time?
the right timing. I was so happy. Yeah.
Because sometimes the universe works this way that
Yeah.
when you felt ready,
Yeah.
and that's where the timing
Yeah,
aligns.
it was
for
the
you.
right timing. And then I'm thinking of working with my brother in Taiwan to raise some fund to turn my mom's house into a community center, neighbor center for the neighbor. They can use it to have a party, to organize events free of charge. I'm thinking of doing that. And then it's very funny. Do you know, in January, I went to visit a factory, LED factory outside Xiamen. And then the CEO of the factory is the chairman of the Xiamen Alumni Association. So I told myself I want to get to know people from the dean of the architecture school at Xiamen University or Xiamen Huaqiao Daxie. So I said maybe one day I ask him to connect me. Monday, remember I asked you, you want to go to attend this forum at the Mei Chi Xiong's office? I told Mei Chi Xiong, I said, yeah, I want to attend a forum Monday. So I went there. Instead of just attending forum, he asked me to give a talk for 30 minutes. And then after that, I get to exchange contact information with the Dean of the College Architecture from Xiamen University, Dean of the College Architecture from the Huaqiao Daxie. Right timing, timing is just right. And one of them said they're going to invite me to go back to Xiamen to give a talk. But besides talking, my intention was to get the students from the university to help me free of charge to do the documentation for my mom's home and to help me to design. And then maybe you will help me to rebuild.
And all this was not planned for.
Not
before
planned.
you came. Amazing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to shift the energy to the room. So I warm up enough. Maybe I welcome questions from the floor. Dato' first. Come.
Yeah.
Lady in the front.
Yeah.
You need a mic? Okay.
I just want
You can speak directly. Yeah.
to ask a question. When Kun Lim was saying that the mom passed away,
Yeah.
then he went to Kenya and
Kenya.
then saw the acacia tree with the chair there.
Yeah.
And the first thing that struck his mind is, I'm free.
Yeah.
Actually, we are free from what, may I ask?
I'm so happy she wrote. I wrote here too the same question.
I'm
Did-
free
did-
from.
did we share the
I'm
same
through.
question?
Yeah, I'm free from a lot of things, which I don't really want to discuss openly. Free from many things that I'm so scared of. So many things, attachment, everything. I'm so scared of making decisions. Yeah, I'm so scared of everything. Looking after my children, a lot of other things. Yeah, a lot of things. Family, and I'm not worried about my work. My work is very easy. It's just very easy. And then I also never worry about my fees because my clients always pay me down payment. And then MPKT, the CEO always here. He knows that his boss always pay me money retainers. In fact, our project in the 1.5 we will get our fees in full, but the project is not finished yet. Yeah, so I'm not worried about money. I'm worried about certain issues about making decisions for my family, where they should be. Should they be in Malaysia? Should they be in US? Yeah. So when I was free, I decided to move my children to Seattle almost immediately.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Gentleman at the back.
Kun Lim, I'm very inspired to hear about your sharing and doing all those fantastic ideas from you. We're very proud of you. Thank you for coming to Penang.
Thank you.
I have a question for Kun Lim. So, after going and traveling to so many countries, especially US, so what can you give us some recommendation or some advice what in Malaysia architecture is lacking? I'm actually a graduate architect myself. So, what is Malaysian architecture lack of, or maybe the government policies could be improved on?
I mean, to be honest, Malaysia has some of the most talented architects compared with some of the best in the world. So you don't really lack of anything. And there are so many different architects doing different things. You don't have to be doing the same thing. Don't worry about Malaysian identity. There's no Malaysian identity. Yeah, you just do your own thing. That's what Malaysia is very good. You look at especially like a lot of young architects. They are so good. Younger one like Ching Keng, they are very good. Like a few other. A middle-aged one like her, she's so talented. Won so many awards, much more than me.
I'm not young anymore.
I say middle-aged, about 40 years old.
Oh, thank you very much. But for Penang context, maybe I can borrow a bit of her echo question. Malaysia, but Penang, what do you see in Penang? Is there anything lacking?
I don't see lacking.
We can learn from your wisdom.
Then maybe I'll just say about how I can. Maybe I don't want to talk about how the lacking architecture. I don't think you lack anything. I just want to compare the environment between Xiamen and Penang. Both are sister city. Both have a heritage area. Xiamen, the Penang heritage area is more interesting than Xiamen because Xiamen is like monoculture, Chinese. Penang, you have influences of Muslim, Islam, Malay, Indian, and Chinese. That's what's more interesting. And then this also is true for the society of Malaysia. That's what make a country more interesting. We have to learn how to use the advantage to create something that's much bigger than one individual. So I would say that's what I can say. Because of the environment we grew up with, we should be able to create anything much better than any architects in any parts of the world. And you want to be a good architect, yet to, I mean, unfortunately, I'm not, because why? Do you know Wang Su from China? He won the Pritzker Prize in architecture. He said to be a good architect, you must have a strong cultural root, some of the root. In order to be a good architect, you have to understand art, everything. And in Malaysia, who are the good designer, world-famous designer? Jimmy Choo. He has a strong Peranakan root. That's what he became world-famous. He designed beautiful shoes with the Peranakan root. Who else? Zhang Toi in New York, fashion designer, same thing. He has a strong Kelantanese root. And Dr. Kenyang, I don't think he has any roots, but his focus is on green architecture, so it's something to look at. And then for me, Dr. Kenyang, when I came back to Malaysia, I have my first job offer was from him. Very nice guy. I used to visit him. He always give me new book. Always give me book, and then always I took my. Anyway, for me, who am I? Am I a Malay? I'm not Malay. Am I Chinese? I'm not Chinese enough. Am I a Westerner? I'm not Westerner. I don't have any strong cultural roots. That's why I look at my architecture. I don't have any identity. I always copy here, copy there. That's why my elder son, he's into ChatGPT. He told me, why, Papa, do you know why it's like nothing come close with Tauro Ando? Tauro Ando is very focused. He has a strong cultural root, Japanese architecture, the Japanese culture. And then he only focuses on certain projects, small and medium size. He only used concrete and glass. He said, Papa, you just do everything. It's a Roja, everything.
How do you respond to that? No defense.
No, I say, because it doesn't bring me money.
But I would like to defend on your behalf. Because growing up in Malaysia, we are, we have higher level of empathy. Because we are exposed to different culture. Empathy and tolerance, grew up alongside with all of us. And I saw that empathy and tolerance that you have in Malaysia, and when you go to other cities in the world, And I feel that is your strength.
Yeah.
That you could adapt,
Yeah.
you know. I love the work that you did on the moss,
Yeah.
the pine tree, and it's intuitive and it's very adaptive.
Mm.
And I feel that is that Malaysian exposure
Yeah.
in you.
Yeah.
How do you think of my assumption? Do you
No,
agree?
yeah, I agree. Yeah, right. Yeah. And then also bring certain things to my projects in US. In US, the architecture is very cool. I like to design building that's more informal, that encourage interactions. I used to sit on the board of at the city theater. I told you big project, mega projects, and then some of my board member they were like talking about small thing like, oh, the color of the window, all the small thing. My view is always different from them. Whether you like green color or blue color, is like whether you like coffee or tea. To me, I'm more concerned about how the building will encourage interactions at the street level. That's why I always encourage developer to produce like additional space like small plaza, a small space for people to hang around, to sit, to protect them from the shelter, to wait for the Uber. And then if they do that, I will recommend the city hall to give them additional build area above the ground floor. Yeah. So that's what I brought, what I bring, that kind of so-called design instinct to city like Seattle. It was because of my childhood, how I grew up, how we share with each other, how we, as a community, we interact with each other. Yeah, that's what I learned.
I'm going to bring back to members of the floor.
I just want to mention two things, and one is the connection between Seattle and Penang.
Yeah.
Seattle was one of the first places in the world to organize a whole community, people-centered, sustainable Penang initiative.
Yeah.
And 7 years later,
Yeah.
Penang was the first place in the whole of the rest of the world that actually took that example and set up the Sustainable Penang Initiative, which was initiated and run out of the Penang Institute at that time called SRI. And I think this is wonderful to see how cities can be connected. The second thing was that one of the greatest pieces of architecture in Penang itself is not very much remembered, and yet it is one of the most symbolic of what we were discussing about the cosmopolitanism of Penang, and that is the Victoria Clock Tower. And the Victoria Clock Tower was based on a competition which an engineer at that time won, and he designed that memorial with a Moorish architect on the top. Then you find the Hindu architecture. Then you find the European balcony type, and the bottom Chinese architecture. And to capture all the four great civilizations of the world in a symbolic, clock tower, which when thousands of people come to Penang on the port and cruise, actually see, but very rarely know what it's all about. Because, the labeling and so on is not. At one time, they even had a system of coloring the place so that you see the four distinctive cosmopolitanism. Otherwise, if you don't see that and it's all just painted as one, it's like all of us are painted with color. So we don't see that. Thank you.
I agree with Dato Seri Anwar. Is what, that's what Penang is such an interesting place to be because of the diversity in culture, in everything.
Okay, thank you, Kun Lim. May I return to the question that you asked BU earlier and perhaps related to what the lady asked about what's missing in Malaysian architecture? I was wondering, well, if you were the town planner for Penang, what intervention would you immediately put into force?
Yeah, we have a proper walkway, pedestrian walkway.
Free
Penang,
advice, we write down.
That's the only one.
After this, you sign, then we submit.
Accessibility on the streets.
On the street, walkable city. Just like in Seattle, Seattle has 40 neighborhoods. Once you go back to the neighborhood, you don't have to use a car anymore. You can walk everywhere, to the shops, to the community center, to the library. Everywhere is walkable.
Thank you. I think most of us would agree.
I think Dato is happiest because you also talk so much about walkability. That's a great minds think alike.
Yeah. The tram. Yeah, it's possible to consider tram, but of course some of the roads in the heritage area is quite narrow. But I would say it's possible to consider tram, maybe a smaller scale. Yeah, small scale tram.
I can sense questions brewing up. So few last call. Very rare that we have Architect Kun Lim here for us to ask any questions at all. Okay, then I have a few extra. Because it was a privilege to moderate you at USM.
USM.
And I have so many questions unanswered from that session, so I bring back again.
Okay.
If you are able to restart your career choice, would you choose architecture again?
Yes.
Oh, that's very fast.
Yeah. Because it's a very easy job for me. Yeah.
Is that honest?
Very honest.
No other career?
No.
Because I've asked Ken Young before, and he gave me a different answer. So
no, because I like my job because it's I only had to work 5 to 10 hours a week. Of course, my brother had to work 80 hours a week because I only involved in concept, and I hardly draw. I always walk around. I design while I'm walking, and then once I have something, I'll just sketch out in my iPad, and I WhatsApp to my staff, and then they'll key in, they'll digitize it. They send to me, and I'll just like comment and then use with a remark. And then I learn certain so-called marketing technique. When I have a project, say Dato Sri Michael to hire me, I'll set up a WhatsApp group. People like Jason, his COO, and all the decision makers. And then the first sketch is always from me. So the big boss, the big client know I'm personally involved in it. I'm not a golf playing architect. I don't play golf. I just sketch out, and then I'll sign my big name, Kun Lim, Seattle, August 19, 2026. And then he'll put a thumbs up, and then my staff will just continue.
I have a bit more personal question is, if you have a chance to go back in time and meet that same boy who watched your brother jump into the river, what will you tell that boy?
The same boy jumping in the river, my brother.
What will you tell your younger self?
If
you are able to go back in time.
If I go back to where, can you repeat the question again?
If you are able to go back in time to meet that younger boy of you, what will you want to tell that younger self of you?
I mean, if I would tell my younger self of me to do like what I'm doing now. I would say I enjoy it. I have no regrets.
Will you say the same thing, that dare to dream?
Yes.
And follow your heart?
Yes, exactly.
And never say die?
And never say die.
For crisis in every opportunity in every crisis.
I learned it from my mom. I remember we are so poor. We don't have food to eat, but we want to go to the school. My mom, this one, I went with my mom to Sungai Petani. We have an auntie, we call him Gosipko. We have to borrow money from her, but my mom will pay her back with the interest. And then she said, "You're not worried. Oh, you're just a farmer. All your children, one by one, you send them abroad to study." My mom said something like in Hokkien, "Thi kong et tao ha siu." My mom said, "Someday up there will help." She was so brave, so I learned it from her.
I watched Odysseus yesterday, so it's the same theme. Surrender and follow your dream. So how was it like growing up with 9 siblings, right? You mentioned
9 siblings.
So how was it like growing up? Were there
we are happy. It's very good. We are like always happy now with each other.
Were there fights, arguments?
No.
Never.
We're happy with each other. We never argue about money. Whenever we have any financial issues, like example, one of my brothers, also a doctor, he has some financial issue many years ago. He was like lost a lot of money in the stock market, and then he need to pay back. He borrowed money from the bank. He did not to ask my brother in Taiwan. I make a phone call. My brother said, I forgot how much. I think he need about 1 million ringgit. My brother said, "That's all I have in my bank account," but he wired every single cent to help no question asked. Yeah.
The reason I ask is some of us have siblings. You know, I have siblings, and sometimes there's a certain competitiveness.
Yeah.
Siblings, rivalry, and you know,
No, we
compete.
don't have. Yeah.
I was just curious. You know, was it like, are you the eldest?
No, I'm the
So-
second youngest.
So when you see your eldest brother do achieve success,
Yeah.
is there this sense of pressure
No,
to
no,
follow suit?
not at all. We don't compete. We are very close to each other.
But a sense of encouraging, I'm sure.
Yeah, we also encourage each other. We are helping out each other. Like my elder brother, when they finish the college, they help out the younger one.
I'm asking this for myself. It's very selfish because I have 3 kids, so I'm making notes because I envy your mom, and I'm sure she'll be so proud of all of you.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to make notes from
Okay.
her and how to groom my 3 children
Yeah.
to be all successful
Yeah.
like you and your siblings.
Yeah.
So any personal questions that anyone wish to ask? All good. So what's next, Architect Kun Lim?
What's next?
Do you think you have achieved your
No.
height of?
No, many years ago, there was a magazine in Malaysia that interviewed me. They say, what are you thinking about the future? I say, now, that time maybe I was like 45 years old. I say now, in terms of my architectural design, my standard, I'm like B-. But I believe when I'm 55 years old, I might be able to reach a standard of A-. But now I think I'm maybe like still like B-. So I hope one day I'll be able to be a much better architect. How I wanted to be, I just give you some examples. IMP. I was talking to Dr. Ong, I think either yesterday or today about IMP. I visited most of IMP's building all over the world. When you visit his Suzhou Art Museum, from a distance, the building looked like the building next door, which was built 2,000 years ago, looks the same color. But when you are nearer to the building, you can see the IMP geometry, IMP architecture. That's what I hope one day I can do. I mean, I would respect the environment and my client. Like example, for Shiji Foundation, one day I want to be able to do something like one look, they know it's a Shiji, but it's a simplified version. I had to learn how to convince Shiji people to help me to do so. I believe, like example, in the last Datum KL, Chris Yao gave a talk. I listened to a few of the Chris Yao lecture. He knows how to design certain religious building. One look, you know, religious, but it is Chris Yao. That's the kind of thing I want to achieve, like what Chris Yao is doing.
Next question is, what keeps you going, Architect Kun Lim?
Keep me going.
Is it branch chicken essence, ginseng,
No,
8 hours sleep?
give
What
me-
is the secret of you waking up and ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go because I want to keep myself busy for a few things. First of all, I'm worried I might get dementia and Alzheimer because my mother suffered from Alzheimer. So it keeps me going. I have to learn new things, learn AI, learn all new things. So I'm worried. Do you know, for many years, whenever I go to Taiwan, Taipei, every 2 years, my brother, the doctor brother, he would ask me to go to his hospital, and he will ask me to, he would like conduct MRI for me on 2 areas, 2 parts. One is my brain, one is my lung. Initially, I did not understand why, and I found out why. Because my mother suffered from Alzheimer. My father died from lung cancer. That's what my brother was doing, but he never tell me. Eventually, I found out. And then he always talked to me. He said, look, you need to learn new things. You need to read, learn new technology, new ideas, read book. But he never say to prevent from Alzheimer. And then he always asked me to go jogging, exercise, so that I have a stronger lung.
Because every time I listen to Kun Lim's talk, I'm always inspired by his energy. So I really want to believe that, you know, it's every day all go. But was there any days that, you know, you've encountered a setback that you struggle to get back up?
Of course.
And
Oh.
how do you get yourself up again? A little bit for
And,
all of us.
I love to go out for a walk. I used to go for a run because in Seattle you can run anytime when you feel just run. But unfortunately, I injured my ankle a year ago due to a freak accident. And I had my MRI. I went to a sports injury specialist at Adventist Hospital last Thursday. He told me that if I have to go for surgery, the success rate is only 70%. I said, what happened to the other 30%? He said, you might not be able to walk, So I decided not to go for surgery. So now I cannot go jogging, but I love jogging. When I go jogging, I am so happy. I can hear the wind. I can hear the air. I feel so happy about myself. I feel free. Yeah.
I want to swing back on AI because you mentioned about AI, that you're learning AI.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think about AI. Is it a tool? Is it a game changer? Or it's going to replace all of us?
No, AI cannot replace us. They cannot replace. For example, say AI can help us on our architecture design, but AIs cannot walk the site. AI cannot feel the heat, the
Cannot
rain, the
smell.
water, the smell. We still need certain humans, so-called things.
So how do you see AI can work together with us architects, humans, alongside?
AI, you'll be like a tool, like last time you used CAD. So AI is just an additional tool, which is very helpful to us. Say, example, if you are working on a very simple project like apartment building in Seattle, they are very rigid in terms of regulations. Every single site have a different setback, different requirement. So AI can just like input in all the zoning law, everything, height, and then AI can come out, simulation can now come out, you want to have 2-bedroom, 2-bath, how many units, they can come out, multiple options for you. AI can also key in the construction cost, a project cost, and then we can also tell our clients what is the return of investment. AI can do it very, very fast. So AI can do this kind of job. Once the AI completed the so-called feasibility study, the owner is very happy. We can take over to make it more interesting, to make it more human. That's what AI is good for.
I think it's very progressive to hear, you're keeping up with AI. All our young architects, our young men there cannot lose to, architect Kun Lim. We have to keep up.
I can tell you two stories. A few weeks ago, American Institute of Architects interviewed me for an article about how my grown up in Malaysia, my cultural background, helped me in my project in US. So I was like, what should I say, very innocent. I actually tried to answer every question myself. Took me like maybe 30, 40 hours. Well, it was so difficult. I had to check my grammar, everything. And then a few weeks ago, Bruce Corp, they did a video shoot of me, interview me, I think a few days ago in Penang. In conjunction of their 60th anniversary, they sent me like a lot of questions. I looked at it, I was so nervous. I said, look, 15 questions, all of them are so difficult. I think I showed out the question yesterday. I said, it will take me 4 hours to answer. So I asked my son, asked him to come over. I said, some emergency, you come over. He's a software engineer. He said, Papa, I can help you in 15 minutes. He asked ChatGPT. He just downloaded the questions. He said, ChatGPT, those are the questions that we are going to ask architect Kun Lim. How is he going to answer? The question came out immediately. ChatGPT know about my childhood, know about I grew up in Kubang Rotan, all kind of thing. Know about the house built by my father, know about the river behind my house, know about my 12 wave I designed for PKT with the 600-meter Japanese garden along it, know about my skies, know about everything in 50 minutes.
Oh, it shows you have really documented well and you've spoken everywhere.
Yeah.
And your internet footprint is, almost 100%. That's how ChatGPT immediately
So
know you.
ChatGPT know more about me. But also ChatGPT had a lot of wrong information about me. My elder son is into AI now. ChatGPT, subscribe ChatGPT. A few weeks ago, he checked on the ChatGPT. He said, according to ChatGPT, your net worth is more than 10 million US. I said, nothing come close. he asked for more money from me. Say,
So if I may round up, come to a last question. I save this very personal question. For a Malaysian, we are very proud to see you move from, Kedah, go to US, Taiwan, everywhere in the world. Truly inspiring for us, for me as a Penang born. Where is home to you? Is home a place or
home
a memory?
is a people. Home to me now is Seattle because my son is there. My two children are there. So home is people. My home is in Seattle. My two sons are there.
And
if my kids want to move to Penang, Tanjung Bunga especially, beachfront, Tanjung Bunga will be my home.
And that speaks a lot about your attachment to memory.
Yeah.
Because I've attended a lot of your talks,
Yeah.
and you hold so passionately about memories,
Yeah.
past,
Yeah.
roots.
Yeah.
And I wonder, home to you, would that have any of memory? Memory is a home.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have different versions. Some
Yeah.
say home is in the heart.
Yeah.
Coming home to yourself.
Yeah.
So I like your answer that home is people,
Yeah.
your loved ones,
Yeah.
and place will be your first choice is Penang.
In Malaysia, if I have a choice, if I have to move back to Malaysia, it would be Penang. And then specifically Tanjung Bunga.
Anyone in Tanjung Bunga can come shake hand with Architect Kun Lim after
Yeah.
this.
Do you like durian or not?
Yes, of course I am. Yeah.
Pass, approve. Any last minute? Yes, I'm Mui. Like?
You have done so many projects all over the world. Is there any one that you can name that you feel specifically that this is something that is most satisfying, that comes nearest to what you visualize or whatever?
Yeah, the project that I like the most, but unfortunately it's not built yet, is a graduate school for the study of Buddhism in Sri Lanka. This graduate school for the study of Buddhism in Sri Lanka. I designed it, I show it. It's a way pure. I use a very simple materials, timber and concrete. Yeah.
That was not built.
Not built yet. What happened was I was engaged by the senior advisor to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to design 2 buildings. And the buildings supposed to be funded by Chinese contractors. I designed, they pay me some fees, and then Rajapaksa, he was overthrown. He had to run away to the US. So I lost the project, but I get paid a bit for the projects. I like it because it's very simple, very pure, very sustainable. And then maybe if I keep having those kind of projects, maybe I might be world famous as well. Like my son said, I should be focused on a very simple building, just use a few materials. Like Kengo Kuma is always timber, Taula Ando, concrete and glass. So I thought maybe I still have a chance to be a prominent architect, something like that.
I'm very happy you asked that question,
I hope
and
your
I'm
dream will
very
come
happy
true.
you answered. You know why? Because architects don't answer that question because what is your favorite project? Usually architects say, "Oh, every project is a favorite because you have to choose one." But I appreciate the honesty.
And then the second one I love is my school project, the photography restricted linear or spine. I love that one because to me it's very spiritual kind of thing.
I do wish that one day you get to build that same design.
Yeah.
So any owners, any project land owners wish to build that's ready to take on.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think about 9:30, I leave some few minutes after the event. I'm sure Penang style, feel free to come and take photo with Architect Kun Lim. Yeah, and then ask questions, personal, one-to-one. But Architect Kun Lim, thank you very
Thank you very much.
It's been great pleasure
Yeah.
to moderate second time of the year,
thank you.
2026. I hope to see you again,
Yeah.
either in Malaysia or US.
Yeah.
But thank you so much to everyone. Still keeping alert. Thank you for your attention and support on behalf of Penang Institute. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Architect
Thank you.
Kun Lim.
Thank you. Yeah.
Round of applause
Yeah.
for our speaker.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. So feel free to stay back if you wish to, get Architect Kun Lim's signature or photograph.